Good afternoon, everyone. It's a beautiful day, except it's about 90 degrees, and if you're born and raised in Wisconsin like myself, most of the year it's relatively cold here, so this weather really takes a lot out of you. My southern viewers, this is probably a normal day for you. So we've had a good increase in subscriber count as of recently. Shout out to Tim from Ridge Life for featuring our channel this week. Much appreciated. So hello to all the new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. I'm in our apiary here on the Green Acre. We have two of our own hives, and then one of my friends, who's also my mentor, has two hives as well that he's had out here for, this is the second year now. And as you can tell, one of his hives is doing phenomenally well. He's got 3 supers on it already, and actually within the next week or so he's going to come out and harvest that bottom box of honey already. And it's early June, so that's pretty impressive. Before we get too far into this, check it out. My buddy Ben over at Fiddlesticks hooked us up with some new hats. We've got 3 different designs. They're on our Etsy store, so check out the link in the description below if you're interested. I think they turned out phenomenal. Thank you, Ben. Alright, so what I plan to do today, as I said, it's a beautiful day. It's midday right now, so the best time to crack your hives open is when most of the bees are out foraging, so you're less disruptive to the colony. I think it's about, let's see here, it's 2:30 right now, so it's a good time of day to be doing this. I have this observation window here, and I've noticed over the past couple of days that there's been a lot more bee activity on the side frame here. Generally, the bees are going to start in the center of the brood box and work their way out. So because I'm seeing a lot more activity here on the side, it leads me to believe that they've been working their way out and they're making their way to the edges now. If I were to just leave it with a single brood box, they could outgrow their space pretty quickly now, because the queens laid thousands of eggs in there and they're already hatching and doing their thing. They would very quickly outgrow this box, and then we could potentially be dealing with a swarm where the colony would produce a new queen. That new queen would leave with half of the colony, and I don't want my bees to swarm. I want to maintain this colony and let it continue to grow. So I have a second brood box that I'm going to throw on top of this first brood box. The reason I didn't do that right away, say that the day that I installed my package, I didn't throw 2 boxes on here right away because they have a tendency to build up rather than out. Which is called smoke stacking. They'll grow right up the center of the hive and not fill out those frames. We really want them to utilize all that space, which is why we left them alone in this first brood box so they could fill it out. Now that they're filling it out and they're starting to, their population's increasing enough that they're going to start filling this, or running out of space, I want to add my second brood box on, let them grow up into it and fill that brood box out. And once that brood box is relatively filled out, then we can put our queen excluder on and start adding our supers, which is what Scott's got over here. So Scott has 2 brood boxes, his queen excluder, and then he's got 3 honey supers on. Technically, as they fill these out, you can just continue to grow up. They've had boxes well over your head, they've said. But in this case, he told me he did want to harvest some of that honey out of there. Okay, so I got my smoker ready. I'm just going to give a couple of light puffs in the main entryway here. Alright. While I'm here, I'm going to look at my syrup levels. Syrup levels look great, and holy cow, there are a lot of bees feeding on the syrup right now. The reason I've still got syrup on here, let me get this other camera so you guys can get a good angle for yourself. The reason I've got my syrup on here still is because this is a new colony. It's a package I bought earlier this spring, and they're still in the process of building everything out in here. So they're starting with empty frames like this. So this is just a piece of plastic in here with a template basically of honeycomb. So they have to come in here and build all of the comb out on top of this still, and that's a lot of work. So they use that syrup, that sugar water, to turn into wax and build out their comb. So I'm going to keep this on here. As long as they're taking it, I'm going to keep supplying it with them. I want to do everything I can to make sure that my bees are successful this season going into winter, because as any beekeeper knows, it happens, but it's such a bummer to lose a colony through the winter. I want to make sure that they have the best chances at survival that I can provide them with. All right, I'm gonna throw my cover back on. Actually, I'm gonna smoke right down in here a little bit too. That's gonna get some of these bees that are up here in the syrup to hopefully go down into the hive a little bit. Looks like it is clearing out some. So I'm gonna lift this off and set it up here so I don't get wood chips all over it. All right. Just smoking these ladies, letting them know I'm coming in here. Let's get this inner cover off, see what we're working with. Oh yeah. Bees will use what's known as propolis to seal off their hive. Any cracks, crevices, any openings, they seal it with propolis. It helps them maintain their temperatures better, keep bacteria, invaders from the outside. It just seals it off, makes it a nice grow environment inside the hive for them. So we're gonna lift this off. Oh, that's pollen patty that I threw on there. Holy smokes, they are eating that pollen patty like crazy. One good thing to do is to check your inner cover. They'll build comb up onto it. You want to make sure your queen's not up here before you throw it off to the side. So just give it a quick inspection for a queen. I do not see our queen on here, so I'm going to set it aside. They're very calm today. This is good. I'm just going to give them a little more smoke. This will cause them to kind of go down into the hive. Yeah, they're filled out. These are the last frames. The last 2 frames on the side is all they have left to fill out. Everything else in the center here is looking really good. I was just in here like last week, I think, or the 2 weeks ago. So I know the queen's been very busy. She's been planting a lot. She's been laying a lot of eggs. And as I mentioned, the new brood has been coming out and hatching. So I know what's going on in here. It looks really healthy. I'm not gonna bother pulling a frame out and disrupting them. I'm just gonna add my next box now. Alright, got a few ladies checking me out. I'd rather not get stung today. Alright, so this is my second brood box that I'm going to throw on. Ben from Fiddlesticks, who made our hats, also made me these embossed logos for our hives that I designed. Pretty sweet logo, hey? And this is also our second observation window for this colony. So I'm just going to set this right on top of the first brood box. We've got our second observation window here. How neat is that, hey? If you're interested in making observation windows for yourself, I do have a video on that, so check the upper corner of the screen right now. You can go and see how to do that. We've already got ladies moving up inside here, which is great to see. Start investigating this. Pinch my frames together in the center, and let's get our inner cover back on. Since they do have a little bit of pollen patty left, I'm not going to add a new one just yet. I'll let them finish that off. Alright, let's get our feeder back on. Watch out, ladies! Alright, awesome. So this one is done. Now they've got room to expand upwards. The more bees we have in here, the healthier the colony will be going into winter. So I really want to make sure that they fill these 2 brood boxes out before I start adding supers for honey collection. For all of my YouTube friends out there that have their own channels, if you don't have a Joby mount like this, or a similar brand I guess would work too, you should really consider getting one. It's so useful. It gives you so many different options for mounting points. As you can see, I've got this mounted in a tree right now and it's working just great. I'm going to move you guys over though so we can get a closer angle here on the next hive. Alright, so I'm just going to repeat the process with this colony. Send some smoke in the entryway so they know we're coming in. Check out our syrup here. This hive has been a little less active than the previous one, but I do see bees up here. Just give them a light smoke. When you're smoking your bees, just really light puffs is all you need. You don't want to be going, oh shit, like that. See, I just sent embers out into the syrup here. And you're really gusting them then too. It just agitates them. You just want nice light puffs. Okay, I'm gonna put the cover back on. Get this feeder off. Send some puffs down into the top here. Let's get our inner cover off and check for a queen. This one's gooey with propolis too. So yeah, this colony's got plenty of pollen patty up there yet. So I definitely don't need to add one on this group either. Okay, I'm gonna set this down. Again, I'm just gonna keep giving my bees pollen patties to help with brood production. That's my main focus right now. I'm not so concerned about harvesting honey this year. This is their first year. If I get honey, that is great. That's just a bonus though. I just wanna make sure my hive, my colony is healthy going into this coming winter. Again, I know this queen is laying as well, so I don't necessarily need to pull out a frame and check it out. I'll get the other camera though so we can get a good angle in here. They're hard at work. So yeah, this colony is a little bit smaller in numbers than the other one. It looks like they still have 2.5 frames to fill out here and 2 frames to fill out here. I think I'm gonna hold off on adding the second box on this one actually. I'm gonna let them fill this out a little bit more before I add that second box because I don't want them to smokestack and start building right up. Let's fill this out before we add that second box. They still look very healthy nonetheless though. I see honey being packed away in there. Beautiful. If anyone's ever been on the wall about keeping bees, they're interested but you don't know if you want to do it or not, I highly recommend finding somebody that has bees already. Hang out with them, see if they'll mentor you. Just come and check out bees, get a feel for it. It's really not that difficult to do and it's fascinating. It's a really fun activity. I'm gonna take a video for my Snapchat quick. And we'll get this inner cover back on. Let these ladies go back to doing what they do best. Beautiful. You know, people's number one concern about bees is probably getting stung. As you can tell, I don't have any of my gear on now. When I first introduced them, I wore a full suit because I was unfamiliar with these bees. I didn't know what their temperament was like. It was a stressful time for the bees too, taking them from a package and introducing them to a hive. So I wore a suit for the first few times that I interacted with them. But as you can tell, nothing right now. I got shorts on. Just all I needed is my smoke. Honeybees are very calm, very docile. Don't get me wrong, you will get stung, and they do sting, but they only sting to protect their hive. Honestly, the times that I've been stung, it's been because of the weather. We've opened these hives up when like a rainstorm is approaching or has just left, and they get kind of agitated when there's overcast, rainy conditions. And I've been stung a couple of times because of that. That was our fault. We shouldn't have gone in there at that time because of the weather. But really, they are very docile creatures. I think a lot of people confuse European honeybees with like the Africanized bees. Huh. I just noticed one of our brand new grapevines has grapes on it. I just planted that bare root and it was dormant. That's bizarre. I didn't know they produced grapes in their first season. Anyway, Africanized bees tend to have a more aggressive temperament, which makes them great for honey collection. They'll produce a ton of honey, but they are a little bit more aggressive. They have a shorter fuse when it comes to being tampered with. But these European bees, these are Carniolan honeybees, very calm, very docile, awesome bees to work with. With the future forecast and the temperatures being what they are, I would anticipate that my second hive here will probably need that second brood box within the next week, maybe two. So I'll just come out here next weekend, take a look at them, see if they filled out those final frames at all, and then we'll get that second box added. Every colony is a little different. Every colony is its own individual family. They've got their own characteristics, pros and cons, so every colony is going to grow at a little different rate than the one prior. While I'm out here, I figured I'd take a second to answer a friend's question and enlighten some others that maybe didn't know the answer to this either. Yesterday, with the coming warm temps, I had a friend reach out and ask how active the bees are when it gets this hot. He was thinking, does it get too hot inside the hives and the bees don't want to be in there then, so they leave during the day or go find a shaded spot or something? Bees actually do a phenomenal job at regulating the temperature inside their hive. When it gets really hot out, there'll be a line of bees sitting on the front entryway of the hive just fanning their wings. They'll just sit there fanning their wings. And what they're doing is they're pushing cooler air down toward the ground inside the hive and circulating it up through the frames and out the top entrance of the hive. So what they're doing is air conditioning, basically. They're sending that cool air in, keeping the air moving. Sometimes it will get really hot in the hive and you'll see them bearding off the bottom of the main entryway, off the bottom board. They literally form a beard of bees. They'll just hang on to each other and sit outside the hive. They do that to cool down, reduce the amount of numbers of bees inside the hive, less body heat in there then too. It hasn't gotten that hot yet, but it will. We're early yet. So if they start doing that, I'll show you guys some footage of that. This is a good reminder too, if you do have like a bird bath or pools or anything on your property and you keep bees, they're going to be utilizing those water sources a lot more now that it's really hot out. Just like anything else, when it gets hot out, we need more fluids to stay hydrated. So same with the bees. I noticed my bird bath has been pretty active the past couple of days with visitors from the colonies. So make sure your water sources are topped off during these hot days. But honestly, even if you don't keep water out for your bees, they don't need it. It's just, as I mentioned before, I'm just trying to give my bees every opportunity to succeed. So I do keep water out for that reason. But they are fantastic foragers. They'll find natural water sources, dew on leaves and shaded parts of the woods and stuff. It doesn't matter, they'll find water. Just providing it for them gives them a little bit more of an advantage. So, hope that answered your question, buddy. As a reminder, we do have an active giveaway going on. I had a friend reach out and ask, does it have to be a vegetable garden? And I guess I didn't specify, but so I opened it up to any garden. It could be a flower garden, a vegetable garden, fruit, an orchard, I don't care. Just show me your setup, show me your garden setup. The rules are, be a subscriber of the channel, email me a few photos with your name, and if you have a YouTube channel, go ahead and provide that in there. My email is in the description below. I'll share your photos with your name in an upcoming video, and then everybody who submits photos, I will enter in a drawing to win, let's do a pint of maple syrup, a pint of maple sugar, a hat of your choice. We have 3 different options on our Etsy. Those maple products were harvested here on our property. If you're interested in seeing the process of making that maple sugar and syrup, I'll put a link of a video up in the corner there that you can, actually it's a playlist, so there's a handful of videos that you could watch to see how that's done. What am I missing? I believe I set the final submission date as June 30th, the last Wednesday of this month. So you've got a few more weeks yet to submit your photos. Yeah, I'm just interested in what everyone's growing, what your gardens look like, what your setup is. The actual infrastructure of your gardens is I'm really curious about. I actually went to school for architectural design, so I've always been big on designing things, making them as efficient as possible. So yeah, I'm just curious what your setups look like. Flowers, vegetables, fruits, doesn't matter. Just send me your photos. Share the video with your friends. Let's do, for every 10 submissions we get, we will do a drawing. So if we get 10 and then an 11th person submits something, we'll be giving 2 giveaways away then. Yeah, so I think I covered everything. If you got any questions, feel free to comment on a video asking them or send me an email. So I think that's gonna wrap up this video. Looks like the sun's going behind some clouds, so I might try and get some yard work done while it's not 400 degrees outside. So yeah, hope you guys learned something. Hope you're enjoying the weather, whatever it's like, wherever you are. For the new subscribers, welcome to the channel. Happy to have you. Happy to form a new community here and make some new friends. So take care, everybody. We'll see you in the next video.